All right, this next replay I'm going to look at is ForGG versus Snute. Newkirk Precinct. This is a map that I have checked off on ladder. Just because I didn't enjoy playing on it very much when I played it in the beta. So I just checked it off. Another command center first. And this is personally my favorite build. I like putting the command center on the high ground on 2-player maps because the drone scout can be kind of annoying. But it's fine to put it on the low ground. It's not like... This type of decision is not a strategic decision. It's purely tactical. Like, if you put the CC on the low ground, you'll lose to a pool first, but you'll be in better... your economy will be a little bit better if Zerg doesn't go pool first. So, it's not like a decision that, you know, I can cast my judgment on. It's going to be better. It's just a meta kind of decision. It's going to be slightly better depending on his opponent and their match history and all that stuff. So, CC first, quick second gas. It's going to go Hellion Banshee. Probably with Cloak. Indeed. Let's see what these Hellions do. And these Hellions are his first scout. Actually, did he go gas before barracks here? After his command center? Something I want to take a quick little look at. Nope, just barracks gas. No wall in whatsoever.
Upgrade complete. Add-on complete.
Double Hellion into Cloak Banshee. And I'm a fan of these builds where you don't scout whatsoever until the Hellions. He'll be like pretty safe against like roach stuff with this really early Banshee for the most part. And he's just metagaming a little bit, saying Snute is not going to go one base roach, you know? And that's fine. Like, you have to take risks at some point in the game. Why not try to get ahead early against a really, really good Zerg like Snute? So he's denying creep. Banshee's on the way. I would not be surprised if ForGG tried to run his Hellions past these queens. Like, into the main or something. Okay, so the Hellions come back home to deal with the Lings. This is the drawback of not walling in. And Snute has not gotten any scouting info of this Cloak. So there shouldn't be any spores. They should be just starting.
Our SCVs under attack.
So there is a spore on the way. He'll probably target drones. And this is like the this is the kind of tech version of what he did last game. Last game he did this big 2-base marine timing. This game it's Hellions and Banshees, but he's still powering really hard on 2 bases. And this is just his style. I can only imagine as a Zerg, it's really, really frustrating to play against this type of stuff. And the basic idea behind this composition is that Hellions are extremely good in these numbers against Zerglings. And Banshee is really good against Roach. So what can Zerg do to combat this efficiently? Like, probably a combination of a low number of roaches and a high number of queens with some static defense is what Zerg wants, where Zerg wants to be. But it is kind of hard to scout this stuff. So he's just doing a crazy amount of damage. I'm surprised the game doesn't just end here. Transitioning. Like, you can do anything here. Double armory, double eBay. You can stack like 7 barracks, that's fine. Probably with a little bit better control, this game could have ended right now. Doesn't really make much sense to me to go into mech after dealing this much damage, because mech is just, it doesn't put any pressure on. Like, the strength of mech is like the late game stuff where you make kind of an unbeatable army, but Zerg is going to be able to redrone and max out if you go into mech. So for that reason, I would rather have seen Bio, just to keep pressure on and end the game, because he killed 20 workers. That should be enough just to end the game, in my opinion, at this level of play. He makes a Viking this game, and he's going to do some Hellbat drops. Swooping below the mutas. This is kind of cute, using the Viking to scout for overlords. And this should be a Thor. Thors are on the way. But Zerg's already back in the game. Like, yeah, this map is good for mech. That's perfectly reasonable, but when you get 20 worker kills, I really think you want to keep the pressure on. Mech just allows Zerg to get back in the game.
Upgrade complete.
So they're fighting each other. ForGG is using his really nice multitasking and 334 average APM to do some harassment during all this stuff. So he's gotten up to 28 drone kills, which is respectable. No upgrades at the tech lab on the factories, and no add-on on the starport. I don't play mech, so I don't really know common Zerg reactions, but it seems like Zerg is back in this game. And ForGG's adding command centers, starting 2-2. Yeah, he's just a really in-your-face type of a player. And it's one thing to look at replays and kind of judge a player for being too aggressive and being kind of cheesy and playing a little bit one-dimensionally, but as a player, it is so difficult to deal with this type of attacks. Like I'm Terran, so generally I'm the one that's pushing the multitasking, but when Protoss uses warp prisms and when I get dropped in a couple locations, it's really, really hard to deal with. So, like, on pen and paper it's one thing, but in an actual game it's a nightmare to play against this type of stuff. So even if it isn't like completely like solid to just non-stop attack with mech, it's hard to actually punish it. You have to play really crisply as Zerg. One upgrade that I think Zergs should get more is the Overlord speed upgrade. Because Terran builds at most 2 Vikings, usually just 1. And after those get cleaned up by the Muta, Overlords could be spread very quickly. And then Zerg just has complete vision of the map. Not that he really needs it. These watchtowers see a little bit further than I think they should. Alright, so Zerg is attacking. Lame. I'm of the opinion that Zergs and Protosses should never attack Terran. They should just keep spreading creep and keep teching up toward Hive. Zerg probably needs about 20 more drones. Perfect, went up to like 80 or so. Choosing to upgrade melee attack, so maybe Ultras are in the future. We have a greater Spire on the way. And I personally believe the best composition, Z versus Mech, is like Mass Corruptor with a splash of Broodlords. I like to see like a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 ratio where you have like, say you have 8 Broodlords and then you've got like 24 Corruptors. It's pretty tough to down Broodlords with Thors. And I way too often see Zergs go Broodlord and then morph like all of their Corruptors into Broodlords and then not have any anti-air. Okay, I'll go back to the ForGG cam and see what he's doing. He's taking a base. Got this army. Adding a couple ports. Got +3 attack on the way. I would like to see air upgrade, actually. Ship weapons. And he's sitting at about 50 SCVs, which seems about right, actually. When you play mech, look, these units are all gas expensive. They're not mineral expensive. So what you need to get is a lot of refineries. If you have like 70, 80 SCVs mining minerals, your money just skyrockets, and you can't really use it in a good way. So I like having the low SCV count. So this kind of count is kind of what I dislike. He's got 5 Broodlords, 6 Corruptors. ForGG is using the alternate Thor mode, which is good against Broodlords. And this is going to be an absolute smashing in the favor of Terran. Like, against an army like this, you can't do a little bit of everything. You really can't. He's got a splash of Mutas, a splash of Thors, 6 Corruptors, and like a little Roach, a little Ling. Like, the way to approach this is either all Roach, just a mass Roach, maybe some Ultra Viper, and try to make Vikings completely nullified, or you go all air, like mass Broodlord Corruptors, so the tanks are nullified. But if you do like some of each, his whole army just gets to fight really effectively. And I'm not saying it's easy to do. Like, ForGG was attacking constantly that game. So, like, Snute needed an army. Snute, like, against passive mech, you don't have to build anything until, you know, double Spire. But ForGG kind of forced Snute into an awkward, uncomfortable composition.